going to have this conversation on something that in life we should deal with. Uh, like often, not even occasionally, often, because relationships, we're going to go over their defines, but relationship is organic. It's an organism. I won't say it's organic because that's not always true, but it is an organism. It is an organism. So relationships are an organisms where two parties are involved. Relationship is an organism where two parties are involved. And guess what? Because there are two parties involved, you have individuals involved, and individuals grow at different rates. And so watch this. I can't become envious or jealous of that person I'm in relationship with when they grow before I do. I can't become arrogant when I grow before they do. Do you see the balance? And a lot of times somebody else is growing, and some people in our immaturity we become envious because they're growing. What about my growth? It's not even that you're quote unquote hating on them. It's just that now you're looking for your growth because when you're in such close proximity to somebody that you see advancing, it's very difficult to act like you don't want some of that for your own self. And guess what? There's nothing intrinsically wrong about wanting to grow because we all ought to be wanting to grow, especially in the things of God. Especially in the things of God. But we need to grow because growing is a part of life. The moment that you stop growing, you start dying. The moment that you stop growing, you start dying. So we always are looking for growth, and we're always looking for things to help us grow. And the things that help us grow, right, are seed and water. Seed and water. So I need seed and I need water. I need seed and I need water. So some of the seed that I need to help me to grow is affirmation. Say amen, everybody. Some of the seed that I need to grow is affirmation. I need somebody to tell me the things that I'm doing right. Now watch this. I need correction as well. I need correction as well, but I need affirmation. Somebody say, I need affirmation. And so the first affirmation that I need is heavenly affirmation. I need divine affirmation. The first affirmation, my priority affirmation should be divine. If divine affirmation isn't my priority, I'm going to find myself in malfunction. Let me say it again. If we do not have, I'm not just talking about myself, but if we do not have divine affirmation as our priority concerning affirmation, then we're going to malfunction. And why that is because now we're going to be looking for someone who is less than divine, someone who's less than flawless to approve of our actions. Which means that I may seek, and we see this all the time in gang culture, we see this all the time in wrong relationships, is somebody is affirming me, and I'm feeling good about myself, but that person themselves is corrupt. Now watch this. I may be looking to affirmation from somebody who is a person who is trying to live their life right and has nothing but the best intentions for me. But they experience a season of difficulty. And when they're going through a season of difficulty, they can't put their focus on you, which means the affirmation that you're used to, you're not getting. And now because you're not getting the affirmation that you're used to, now that person is faulty when they've got their own difficulty to go through. It's not that they've forgotten about you, it's that they have to love themselves first. And they have to deal with themselves. See, when nothing's going wrong in my life, I can help you deal with you. When nothing has got me in a bind, I can help you deal with you. But sometimes I got to deal with stuff that's going on in my own life. Say amen, everybody. So there's things I have to go through in my own, and we have to go through in our own lives, and we have to take those times to make sure that we're having that necessary degree of selfishness. There's a necessary degree of selfishness. I will say it until I go to my grave. There's a necessary degree. If I don't take care of myself, how can I possibly take care of you? How can I really observe what the pronouncements of God, the one that he finds second, right, in his order, he says, love your neighbor as what? So I can't really love my neighbor until I love me first. If I don't know how to love me, I can't know how to love. Watch this. And I can't know how to love me unless I love God. See how it works? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind. So I have to do all those things, learn how to do those things, then I can learn to love myself. And as I begin to love myself, then I can love my neighbor. See, when I put my neighbor, watch this, and this is what we do as parents. I know because I am one. Watch this. We say, I put my children ahead of yourself. You're going to mess that child up, and you're going to be messed up too because you don't know how to love you. Because now watch this, when that child isn't being the perfect person you want them to be, now there's stuff wrong with your life when you put them in the wrong seat. They don't belong in that seat. See, in America, and we talk about this all the time, in America, our issue is that we really only have one word for love. And we use that one word to describe everything. I love these chairs. I love this table. Ooh, Pastor Postel, I love that hat. I do. It's nice. It's cute. You look good. I love that hat. But the love I may have for her appearance, and she looks lovely today, don't you agree? So even though I may love her outfit and love the way that she looks, that's a different kind of love than I should have for her own self. Because watch this. Every day she don't look like this. Right? Now, I've never seen Pastor Postel look raggedy. I've never seen her look raggedy. But I've seen her when she's dealing with things. And it's not that she's coming up, oh, woe is me. And none of that. But I can see it. Watch this. When I see her feeling lesser than I'm used to seeing her, I don't think lesser of her. Because I love who she is, not what I see. I love who she is consistently, not who she is when she has a moment. And watch this. Let me put the correct adjective on it, a misguided moment. Because we don't allow misguided moments to become permanent mindsets. But back to what I was talking about is that when we put people, anybody, me, you, anybody in the wrong seat, I can't love myself more than I love God. And watch this, sometimes when we want to do what we want to do, we'll put our agenda ahead of his assignment. And so, well, I want to do what I want to do. No. If God has given you an assignment, that assignment should take precedence. It doesn't always take precedence. And you know why it doesn't always take precedence? Because you have free will. And so one of the greatest sacrifices you can ever give in this life is free will. You want to know what Yeshua's greatest sacrifice was? Free will. Not my will. It's not mine. He already let you know this ain't about me. Hello, Bishop. But this ain't about us, right? It's more than about us. It's got to be. I've got to have my priorities in order. Now, watch this. God is such a lovely God that he'll allow himself to be first and deal with what you need to. But I run everything by him, and I run everything through him, and I take everything to him. Right? Y'all need it again? I run everything by him, which means that before I do the next thing, Lord, what do you think about this? I run everything through him. God, as I'm doing this, work through me. And then I take everything to him. This ain't working like I thought. Help me fix it. Relationship, organism involving two or more individuals, which means they're going to grow at different rates. I can't be envious of their growth. I can't be arrogant in mine. I can't be envious of their growth. I can't be arrogant in mine. We got a hand.
Could you explain to individuals that the difference between arrogance and boldness, please?
Arrogance is self-absorbed by its very define. So it's self-absorbed. It's when you become overly so into yourself. Boldness is when I have the brave, the courageous, the boldness, the upfrontness to be like about what I want. I'm bold enough to say that I know what I'm capable of, right? When we were talking about, I'll give an example to hopefully make it a little plainer. So when we were talking about what we were going to do for this particular forum, I said, hey, I was aware of what they was doing in highlight reel, but I want to know specifically where they were. She said, I want to take it back to the beginning anyway. I said, okay, cool. And when they brought up a relationship, I said out my mouth because that's how I feel. I said, that's my vein right there. That's my vein. So I'm very bold to be like, oh, no, you want to go with relationships. I got you. That's something that I understand well. You want to talk about feasts? I'm bold to talk about feasts. I don't have to get out of the Bible to talk about feasts. I'm bold about it. I have experience. I have knowledge about it. That's not arrogance. That's the truth. I put time into it. I've been given wisdom for it. Does that make sense? I've been graced with that. So I can be bold in the things that I'm graced with. I can be bold when I approach the throne of grace, not because I think that I'm worthy. But how can I say me and my flawed self can approach the throne of mercy with boldness? Because his word says so. His word gives me permission to have that boldness. I don't think any higher of myself than I ought. But I don't think any lower of myself either. Does that make sense? Somebody say on the level. I got to stay on the level. I got to have proper balance. I got to know that God called us to be kings and priests. Or you just act like you so regal. Well, I am. Well, I am. Or you act like you know so much. I don't know everything, but I do know this. I know what I know, and what you're going to do is you're not going, if I can speak my speak, you ain't finna knock me off my pivot because you got self-esteem issues. That's boldness. I can love you, tell you where I am, tell you where I am with you, and still love you. Tell you what I'm willing to do for you and not back down. That's proper boldness, right? Okay, if I'm willing to help you, I got to understand what are my own limits. Because though I would love to do whatever I can do for everyone, truth is I cannot. So now I have to start making my list of who I will do, what for. Now I'm not talking about on occasion you see somebody down on their luck or whatever, how you see somebody you want to hand off and you hand them something that you have. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the stuff that the people that you deal with every day. The people that you deal with every day. Because everybody is not as closest to you as you make them out to be. Everybody isn't as close to you as you want them to be. Right? And we have to understand that this relationship is an organism. I try to be close with pretty much everybody that is consistently here. You know, I'm going to try to love on you. I'm going to try to talk to you. But when I see, you ain't got to put your hand up to me. You know what I'm saying? And this is something that we all really need to do. If somebody give you a certain tone, hey, nothing you finna say after that point is finna get in their mind anyway. Okay, you're not ready to receive. If I raise my voice, I'm only going to make you more resentful. If you try to force feed a starving person, they will fight you. No, because even though I'm starving, even though I need this, and even though right now you're the only person that have it, you still have to give it to me at the pace in which I can ingest and digest. Does that make sense? I see a hand right there, but I need to let Pastor Postel jump in. I'm all on. Let me get. Go ahead. Don't want to bold this.
So boldness means you have the courage to do something. You're not, first of all, boldness requires that you know that you know that you know. Okay? So then when you know that and you know you're in right standing, then you have the courage to perform or do that thing. Arrogance is you don't care if you have the right factors or the circumstances for the situation. It's my way, and I don't care what anybody else thinks. And that's arrogance when it becomes about you to get your point across versus being in the right stead to help somebody. Arrogance doesn't help anybody. Arrogance alienates. In every situation that I've ever seen, When you're arrogant, that smelled just like bad body odor. And that is a big turnoff. That's a turnoff to anybody. I don't care if we be honest with ourselves. When you run across somebody arrogant, you don't want to deal with that spirit. And remember, I keep teaching you guys, we're not looking at people. We're looking at the spirit that operates. And arrogance is a spirit. Boldness is confidence in knowing that you know and that it is in right stead. It's not about you.
Arrogance is the spirit of pride. Arrogance is the spirit of pride. Boldness is permission. We only have, I ain't giving no worldly defines now. You came for some worldly stuff, I ain't got it. I'm talking about as the Bible gives it to us. This is why we have become very big on not just definition, but operation. Because a lot of times we'll look at a definition from a Western mindset. And so we'll say this word means that. And it does in a Western mindset. But what does it mean in a biblical mindset? Because sometimes it's entirely different. And many times it's much more deep. It's much more deep. Like kind of coming back to that thing of love. We say we love everything. You know, in the Bible, or especially from the Greek, you got eros, you got phileo, you got storge, you got agape. You know, so we have these definitive articles where we can understand, hey, this is the type of love that I'm dealing with in Western Hemisphere or in English, Nasserean. We just say we love everything. And so now when somebody says they love you, you don't even know what love that you're receiving. I love you. If I say to any female besides my wife, I love you, trust me, it's on a storge, it's on a family level. There is no eros. There's nothing erotic in that. You understand what I'm saying? Now, mature people can read that. But some people, if you don't let them know, he said he loved me. I did. I said it. That ain't how I meant it. See the difference? That is exactly what I said. That is not at all what I meant. I got to get Paul. Mike, give him the mic, please.
Something that I kind of dealt with this morning while I was cleaning up was how do you determine, and I'm sure that everyone has heard before, that person is spiritually sound but no earthly good. People have said that before. Now, I don't agree with the statement because if you're spiritually sound, you're going to be earthly good.
That's where I was going.
But how do you determine between the balance, as you're saying, between, and we should be seeking after God, but does there come a point when you should be some earthly good to somebody else?
I believe exactly what you see. Because watch this, this is how, if we follow the model of Yeshua, right? You're talking about an individual who is perfect, flawless. He is flawless. We got to be definitive. He is flawless and perfect because he's complete, but he is flawless in every aspect imaginable, right? So how is this person who is without flaw completely relatable? Really. Think about this person who is completely he has no flaw. Yeshua has no flaw. But the beautiful thing about Yeshua, the most beautiful thing about Yeshua is his one of the most relatable things. Most beautiful things about Yeshua is his relatability. It's because I can relate to him. It's because when I pray and I'm praying in the name of Jesus, not necessarily saying in the name of Jesus, but in that character. When I'm praying in that vein, it's just like I'm speaking to an authority figure. Even though I'm being real, there's a certain tone. And I'm not talking about an inflection in my voice, but there's a certain tone, there's a certain weight to it when I speak to my mother. Even if I'm upset with my mother, there's still a certain way that I speak to her. I can let her know that I'm upset with her without disrespecting her. That's a bar. I said I can let her know that I'm upset with her without disrespecting her. And that's how we speak with God. God, I'm upset. Watch this. Sometimes with you. What? What? I am upset. I don't look. I am not Yeshua, but I find myself in the same mindset. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. These people don't deserve it. Yep, I done felt that way. Sure have. Like you ain't never felt the things that you do for some people aren't deserved. Like come on, anybody that got children that's grown, I know y'all feel it. I keep doing this for you. Everybody come around there. I don't know what you're talking about, Pastor. I bet you got some grown children, you know what I'm talking about. I keep doing for you. I keep doing, cousin. But think about that. The way that you feel, that's how God feels. I keep doing for you. You never see it. I keep doing for you. I keep providing for you. No matter how many times you fail, no matter how many times you come at me sideways, I just keep doing for you because I love you. No matter how you come at me, I think you know more than you do know. You don't know more than me. And watch this. When you are speaking to your father, you are speaking in two different places. You are literally in different time zones. You are speaking from time into eternity. So watch this. This is why children ought to be able to receive from their parents, because you're talking in two different time zones. Well, that's what happened back then. Same spirit. Same spirit. And I can see it better than you can. Because one, I done been here longer. One, I'm saying for real.
You know, Pastor, I posted yesterday, this young lady was talking in this same vein, and she says that we come to the table and we see the plate, but God sees the table. And so our focuses are so different, and I think we forget that he is Alpha and Omega, and I think we also forget he knows our end from the beginning. That fact alone should be enough for us to want to seek him in everything.
And not only is he the Alpha and the Omega, but watch this. He knows our in-between before we experience it. He knows our in-between and our next. We get in absolutely the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the author and the finisher of our faith. Sometimes I think we forget he's that in-between God too. That he knows what's next. And one of the difficulties that we face in life is not knowing what's next. Because we want to control what's next. We want to control what's next. We want to be able to be like, hey, I'm going to figure out, hey, if I do this, especially getting in the realm relationship, if I do this, then that person should do that. You done figured out a formula how to make somebody else behave. You will never, apostle, prophet, evangelist, pastor, teacher, deacon, preacher, usher, missionary, brother, sister, ministers, overseers, you will never, ever be anyone's causation. Ever. No matter, watch this. You think you birthed that child into this world. You didn't cause that. Watch this. The Father did. Oh, I'm gonna be this bold. I don't care if you got it from a bank. I don't care. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter if you got it it doesn't matter if you got the seed from a bank. It came from the Father. So you did not cause that child to be born. You were what you will always be, a conduit. At your pinnacle, you will be a conduit. At your worst, you'll be a clog. At your pinnacle, you'll be a conduit. At your worst, you'll be a clog, which means that you'll stop some stuff from coming through. Because to be a conduit, you have to let it come through you. You can't fight it. You may even put a filter on it. But if you clog it up, can't nothing get through. And what a lot of times is we can't have right relationships because we've clogged up that conduit. Because we think that we can cause someone to conduct themselves differently. And it is above your pay grade. It is above your capacity. It is above your ability. With all these wonderful words that I'm saying and all this wonderful articulation that I have, I can cause you to do nothing. I can be absolutely accurate. I can be absolutely anointed. I can be absolutely called. My election could be absolutely sure, and I can cause you to do nothing. I can be on my assignment. I can understand my assignment. I can cause you to do nothing, and that's frustrating. Because no matter how much I put into it, no matter how much I put into it, the results aren't up to me. So let me get Auntie. You had your hand up. You probably don't forgot it by now. Wait for the microphone so everybody can hear you.
I want to understand the part. Okay, I know we talk about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
What about, in my mind, people that try to actually control you? Do you help me with that one?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Again, relationships. What are relationships as we're defining them? It is an organism involving two individuals, right? Now watch this. Every relationship that you have was your decision. Every relationship, not every point of contact, not every association. Every relationship that you have is and or was your decision. Own it. Own it. All of them. All of them. So guess what? If it was a bad relationship, that was a bad decision. No. Don't blame them. Don't blame them. Yeah, they did their part. They did me wrong. You made the decision. I didn't do nothing to them except pick them. And watch this. And most time, not only did you pick them, you stayed with them. Because somebody who hurt you once and doesn't hurt you again, you can get over that. But they keep hurting you again and again and again. And you keep staying and you finally got free. Praise the Lord, I'm free. You finally got free. And now you sit up here like, oh, that person did me wrong. And they kept doing me wrong. And guess who allowed it? You did that. Watch this. It doesn't relinquish them of the wrong that they did. But now it gives you the responsibility to mend what you did to your own self. And we have to mend what we've done to our own self in broken relationships. That relationship is broke. Some of these broken relationships don't need to be repaired. Say amen. They need to be done and over with. Right? But guess what? I was in that relationship. I made that decision. They hurt me, but they done moved on with their life. You want an apology from a person that doesn't care about you. Hold on, let me balance this out. You want an apology that's supposed to make you feel better from a person who doesn't care about you. So even if they say it to you, it won't carry the proper weight because they don't mean it. They're just trying to get you out of their face. Come on, anybody ever receive what we call a half-hearted apology? Which is a whole lie?
I just want to remind you, you want them to drink the poison and you're going to die. Or you want to drink the poison and they are going to die.
We become the wardens of our own prisons. And it's crazy to be both the warden and the inmate. And not even just that, but you built it. You built that prison. You know, you have the keys. to the locks that you put up for your own self. Some of us are in cages of our own construction. I say, some of us are in cages of our own construction. You made that. Well, they did me wrong. They're gone. Now what? They owe me an apology. Watch this. You'll never get it. Now what? Now what? You gonna stay there? You gonna stay there in this cage of your own construction? Say again? Right. Some folks have passed on from this life. Watch this. What you gonna do? Dig them up? Watch this. Anything you dig up is going to stink. If it's dead and you dig it up, it's dead. I don't care if it's just it was a little bitty mouse. It was your favorite hamster. Dig that dead joke up again. Dig Bucky up and see don't he stink. I know he was cute while he was running around. I don't mean to be insensitive. I'm just trying to be real. Dig little Bucky up. Little Bucky was bucking in his little hamster wheel, and then he just gave out. I miss old Bucky. I wonder how Bucky is doing. Bucky is disintegrating. That's what Bucky is doing. Oh man, that's no. Bucky is returning to the earth. He's disintegrating. He's deteriorating. And you're going to dig up something that was dead to you already. We ask why, but we do it all the time. Watch this. I'm not talking about natural death, but there are relationships that are dead to us. And we keep digging them up. We keep digging it up. And we dig it up, you know why? Because we still have an attachment to it. Watch this. We still have a love for it. And we have to learn how serious these things are. At this point in time, everyone that is spiritual, it doesn't matter whether you just came in or whether you've been in for a long time. From the time you start receiving spiritual instruction, we got to start learning how to make sure we craft our relationships. Okay, let me give you an example because I got to make sure I go biblical. The relationship that we have with God is designed by God. The relationship that we have with God himself is one he designed. Does that make sense? So if we're going to know how to do relationships properly, we have to look at God's model. And then we have to look at his son's model. Because everybody who got into relationship with Yeshua, the Father determined it. Because there's some relationships you don't choose. They're chosen for you. Oh, come on now. Okay. But watch, parents are one of them. I didn't choose my parents. Thank God I got them. But I didn't choose them. But they're mine. They gave me life. And for all their goods and all that, they taught me things. I can learn from it, or I can learn from it. Go ahead, because I'm in my bag right now.
As we talk about relationships and ending relationship, is funny because the one thing God showed me when Saul and Samuel relationship was finished, it was hard for Samuel to release it. He said, "How long will you moan Saul?" And a lot of times we get so caught up in people that we're connected to, it's hard to disconnect, even when God is telling you to.
When you grow, and I'm going to use this word, but when you grow with somebody, it can turn into an entanglement. Do you understand what I'm saying? And sometimes we get so interwoven, so I don't use that word too many times so your mind don't go elsewhere. But we become so entangled with somebody. We become so involved. It's intricate, right? Watch this. I become wrapped up in that person. Anybody ever been wrapped up in somebody else? And you had to unravel? And when they decided to let go of you, they left you unraveled. And watch this, because you were so interwoven, now when they leave you and you're unraveled, there's things missing. There are literal holes in your life because you were so wrapped up in them.
And you're saying that because I know everybody can think about a man and woman's relationship, but I want to say spiritually you can do that. With individuals that you have connected with over the years, that you have came to say spiritual mother or spiritual father, or whatever that situation may be. And when God is saying your season there is up and he moves you along, it becomes a place where you feel like something's missing. And I remember when the situation with Saul and he fought happened, and Samuel had to do what he had to do. It became very hard because when he had to tell the prophet that, hey, how long will you mourn, Saul?
Watch this. This is how raveled, and that's a wonderful relationship to bring up with, right? Because the relationship started out right, but then it turned for the worse. Because Samuel stayed with God, but Saul left. So we started out. Matter of fact, God had me come get you in Samuel's case. I'm the one that anointed you. So not only did I anoint you, but I approved of you. So not only was I obedient to God, but I approved of you. And then I grew a relationship with you. But then God said, I'm done with him. And when God said, I'm done with him, that was your sign. If God said they're fired, give them their walking papers.
Not only on that, when God said that he was done, then God will tell us that he's to be done, he's done, change something, don't do it. And why do we sit and question when he gave you direction? That's what I see in this Samuel and Saul situation. Saul questioned God on something. He definitely said, I'm done. And he was still, maybe not verbally, but in his heart, he was still questioning, but why? Why does it have to be this way? Why is it going this way? To the point where you say, I know I heard God. I did what he said. And then the results are not what you wanted, but they were ordained by him.
Watch this. Our actions prove our conduct. Our actions prove our connections, and our action prove our covenant. The reason I'm saying this, y'all got to excuse me, because I know this is the Holy Ghost. I know this Holy Ghost. Forgive me, Holy Ghost, but I know this Holy Ghost. Because look at it this way. Because I have the Word of God in my mind to do. It's not like I'm not saying I know it all, but I got the basics, right? I kind of know how I should conduct myself. So I know how I should conduct myself. So from an outwardly standpoint, I'm conducting myself like a man or woman of God. But my connections prove different because my heart is still connected to Saul. And so even though I'm moving on to David, my heart is still with Saul. So my conduct looks like, I'm trying to stay seated. My conduct, my conduct shows that I'm moving towards David. But my connection is still tethered to Saul. And only God knows the difference because nobody else can't tell you. You know what I'm saying? It takes somebody with a tremendous amount of discernment to be like, yeah, I see that you look like you're moving to David. But your heart's still connected to Saul. That's why hey, look, how long are you going? Watch this. You mourn people that are dead. How long are you going to mourn this dead live person? How long are you going to mourn this dead live person? God, like he's dead to them. Okay, he's dead to me. He's dead to God, but alive with Samuel. that connection is still living, and he's got to learn to let that go. And it ain't as easy as cutting it off. It should be, perhaps, could be, perhaps, but walking that out is a lot more difficult. We have to be, the only way that you can sever something that you're close to is if you're surrendered to something higher.
I just wanted to say that just like David and Samuel and all those relationship right there, when you think about Samuel, the way that he did love Saul, he couldn't, that was his thing. What about us? We talk about how much we love God, but who do we favor? Who do we live more like? We're still holding on to things of the world. What I used to do, who I was, I thought we were not dead. If we truly died to the old man, bury it. Like you said, if you bring him up, he's going to stink. So that's why we as a people of God need to understand who we're really loyal to. That boldness is confidence. You know, when you go to the Lord and ask God, holy boldness is when you go to the Lord and ask him something, you know he's going to do it. Thank God that he saved us, that we have that relationship.
Right, and I want to go to the other side of this, right? Because as hard as it was for Samuel to let go of Saul, it was hard for Saul to let go of Samuel. And watch what he tried to do with Samuel. He tried to bring up something dead. He tried to bring up something dead. And watch this. The same way it died is the same way it'll live again. I could run all around this church. I said the same, oh God help my soul. I said the same way it died is the same way it'll live again. I'm about to break it down. The same way it died, that goes for you and I too. The same way it died, it will live again. When he brought back Samuel, Samuel was no different. Though he be dead, he was no different. You can bring, man, first of all, why you woke me up, which ought to tell you how death works. Why you woke me up? I was having a wonderful dream. It was me and Jesus. It was me and God. Why have you, I'm paraphrasing. I'm taking a little liberty. Relax. I got to do that. I have to do the relax for all the super theologians sometimes. Like, that ain't, relax. Why did you bring me up out of my sleep? I was resting. You've disturbed my rest because you want me to tell you something different. You want me to tell you that what you're doing is okay. You want me to tell you that what you're doing is all right because you know that I had love for you. But because I have the love of God, I can't tell you any differently than what God said. Because as much as I love you, I love him more. And when I love him more, I can't do nothing. If I'm in a right relationship with God, I can't do anything with right relationship with God, but tell you what he says, not what I think. Let me go back one more time. I can't do anything if I'm in right relationship with God. I can't do anything more than tell you what he said. Because the minute I start telling you what I think, I have now unseated him from the priority position. Because everything should come by him. Everything should run through him. Take it to him. Right? God, I still got it. Watch this. Because as much as we should let it be dead to us and remain dead to us, some of us are still dealing with those deaths. And there's some stuff that you've had relationship with that's dead, but you're still dealing with the death. That's why he says, why are you still mourning? Truth be told, Samuel was still dealing with his death. Because it's difficult to deal with death when you're looking at a living person. God said it's dead, but they talking to me. I said it's dead. God said it's dead, but they still want to deal with me. No. I said it's dead. But God, I used to love them so much. If you don't love, let me give you Yeshua speak. If you don't love me more than you love your own mama, you're not worthy. And quiet as it's kept, a scripture that we don't like to deal with because it has complexities. It's not complicated, but it has complexities, is this: that the word of God, the gospel of grace, the gospel of grace says, Yeshua did not come like they thought. He said, I came to bring division. He said, I came to separate some stuff. Watch this. To be holy is to understand separation. To be holy is to understand separation, which means that when God says it's dead, it's dead. Watch this, regardless of how I feel about it. Because truth is the only thing that doesn't need us to be itself. Lord have mercy. I said truth is the only thing. Because sometimes the way we wrapped up, I need somebody to affirm me so I can feel good about myself. Truth don't need you to affirm it to feel good about itself. It's going to be itself anyway. That's why when you know who you truly are, what wrong relationships say about you can't affect you. I know who I am. For real. Right? So you can't tell me something. Now, somebody in right relationship with me can tell me something wrong about me, and I can receive it because we're in right relationship. But a lot of us can't receive even good, constructive, not even critical. Some of us can't receive constructive correction from folks in right relationship with us because we still have too much pride in us. And some of us don't even know that we're in a relationship with pride. You ain't let it die yet. That's why you still arrogant like that. You ain't let it die yet. That's why you think you better than everybody. You ain't let it die yet. That's why nobody can't tell you nothing. Literally can't say anything to you because pride's telling you it's all good. Pride is telling you there's nothing wrong with you. Pride is telling you that person that you know has loved you has been there from a literal day one and does nothing but love on you. Parents, I'm trying to help y'all. I know I've been there. Didn't say I was flawless. Didn't say I got everything right. But I've been consistently there. And you're going to now act as if I haven't been consistently there. And it's tearing me apart. Okay. Now, as you begin to feel sorry for yourself, just think about God. As you begin to feel that pity for yourself, and woe is you, think about God and think about how we're treating him. Because if any of us, myself included, say, oh, I'm doing everything right by God, man. I just need to lay on across this altar right now and every bit of oil that y'all can find, that's all right. We can replace the carpet. Just pour it on there. You might want to get a match and light it on fire too. Burn that junk up. Y'all get what I'm saying? We go on to the next thing. Anybody? Go ahead.
Just a statement here. The first time that I met your father was at my wedding. And I've told the story before that he came to my house and told me to put down my cigarettes and my drink if he was going to talk to me. That is an example of boldness. No. You think I'm talking about boldness in that sense. But he knew that to present to me the seriousness of matrimony, that I needed to put away the things that I was doing and hear what he had to say. And that's God sent. When whatever you're telling somebody is God sent, that's boldness. You tell them in boldness that, hey, This is what you need to do to be in right standing for what you are coming up to.
Preach. Watch this. To have right relationships, sometimes you got to break yourself.
Also, don't serve up the things of God on a paper plate when it should be on a silver platter.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. If you are going to serve, serve right. And if you watch this, if you are going to serve, you have to be able to serve without reciprocity. If you are going to serve, you have to be able to serve without reciprocity. We love that word reciprocity. I do, because it sounds good. It's one of the words, reciprocity. Feel like you're intelligent when you hear reciprocity. No. To serve properly, you got to be able to do it without reciprocity. Because I'm serving from my heart, not serving from expectation. And a lot of times, watch this. A lot of times we love for reciprocity. And that ain't how love works. Because you can be in love all by yourself. Ask God about it. Ask God about it. You can be in love all by yourself, truly, earnestly love, and that person ain't got no love for you.
Because he gave his son in love, and we don't give back to him the way that he gave to us.
And so there's levels of love and understanding sometimes that we love somebody above their capacity to respond. Peter, if you love me. Peter, if you love me. Peter only understood phileo. Yeshua says, Peter, if you agape me, then feed my sheep. Peter, if you agape me, Peter's like, Lord, I phileo you. See, when you read it in English, it don't hit like this. You read it in English, it's all love. But by the end of the passage, you see that Yeshua has changed his tone because Peter can't understand it. You can't love me at the level that I want you to. So for us to stay in relationship, I gotta come down to your. Watch this. I gotta bring it down to your level. Because you can't come up to mine. It sounds arrogant, but it's really just what it is. It sounds arrogant. It may feel no. I have to. For me to love you, I gotta step down. But watch this. If you're willing to step down for the sake of love, that proves you have humility. And a lot of us are too arrogant to step down. You're too prideful to be like, let me love that person at the level that they're capable of. They're not capable yet. They haven't gotten there yet. Watch this. Perhaps they can get there if you could usher them to it. But what we want to do, we want to force people to be on our level, and they're not ready. And if they're not ready and you try to force them, they're going to fight you every time. And watch this. Here's the other side of that. Well, what if they just won't love me at that level? You need to have a conversation with God. Is this the person I should be loving on? Now, you be prepared for that conversation. You be prepared for that conversation. Don't go up in prayer telling some God, where do you want me to be with them? Don't have that conversation. Don't you go pray in the midst now. Okay? Because what if he tells you, release them? Lord, I don't want to let them go. I thought you wanted me to handle the situation. You want me to handle the situation. I'm telling you, let them go. Now, again, if you want to continue to handle it, know it's really handling you. Because a lot of things come on, somebody be honest in the house. A lot of things that we think we can handle are really handling us. It is handling you. It is ragdolling your life. It carry you everywhere it go, but it's just dragging you. You feel it all the bumps. Could you just carry me up here? Come on. I thought I was your baby doll. No, you're a rag doll. You still a doll. I still want to have you with me, but you ain't my baby doll. You my rag doll. And if you don't want to be a rag doll, you got to release them. Because if you want to be a baby doll, there's a certain way that you hold me when I'm your baby doll. Come on now. There's a certain way that you keep me clean when I'm your baby doll. You don't let no dust get on me when I'm your baby doll. You love on me when I'm your baby doll. You feed. Watch, think about the things that you did with your baby doll. You took time to act like you was feeding that baby doll. Come on now. You want to nurse that baby doll. Come on. Took you my buddy. Kid sister. Come on now. Oh, I'm an 80s baby. Y'all got to forgive me. Teddy Ruxpin, whatever it was. Right? Hope you weren't carrying around Chucky now. Now that's, then you need prayer. But you carried around this baby doll. And with this baby doll that was completely dependent upon you, whenever you want to love on it, you would receive love from it because that was your relationship with it. But whenever you left it by itself, it was never lonely. Because baby doll don't have feelings. But see, when people become baby dolls, oh, you just can't leave them by themselves because they got feelings. And you can't just drag them around. And watch this, baby doll that's got flesh and blood, they don't always want to eat when you want to eat. They don't always want to sleep when you want to sleep. They don't always want to relax when you want to relax. They don't always want to do what you want to do, but do you love them enough to see how y'all can get on the same level? Well, they should love me like this. Ask yourself, am I really being God-like? They should love me like this. Am I really being God-like? And if I have to question the relationship, I need to question the relationship. God, where should this person be? Because sometimes, watch this, sometimes he's going to say closer. Sometimes he's going to say, keep him at arm's length. Sometimes he's going to be like, get him out of here. Watch this. Sometimes he's going to be like, bring them in here, the ones that you cast out. I'm talking about dealing with God now, not us, but we say we love. You can't love unless you learn how to unless you learn how to love God. And God sets the parameters of love, not us. But if we would run love by him. I know you love, because a lot of us have gotten in a relationship because of the way somebody looked. Let me break it down because it's not always physical. But most relationships have a point of attraction, if not all. I'm talking about brother to brother, right? Right? There's a certain attraction that I had to Messiah. It's not eros. You see what I'm saying? It's not eros. I like the way his mind works. That's why when he talked to me, I'll be like, man, hey, I can listen to you talk. It's not about, I can listen to, there's a certain, what? Right? Sandra has a particular sweetness to her. Okay, that's my attraction level to you. I'm not physically attracted. She's physically attractive, but I'm not physically attracted to her. See, people out in the world, I ain't gonna name his name, but he's like, oh, I can't have no female friends. That's because your love is off. Your love is off. If every woman that you get close to you want to sleep with, you got a problem. If you just waiting for her to have a weak moment, you don't love her. You're an abuser. You're an abuser. If you're just waiting for her to take her guard down, you're an abuser. And sometimes we just sit in other people's life so that we can abuse them later. Oh, I like them. I'm your friend, and never try and touch on you. Never try to take advantage of you until your guard come down. Watch this, until you're intoxicated. No. You didn't drink no alcohol. You didn't have no alcohol. You was just alone. I'm sorry. You was just alone at the wrong moment. You lost something close to you. And when you lost something close to you, now there's a void in your life. And if people don't understand, watch this, because relationship leaves you in a vulnerable state. And if I'm an abuser, I'm going to take advantage of your vulnerabilities. I knew you was a vulnerable. I know you would never let me do nothing like this if you wasn't in that mindset. But see, I'm sober. And you're intoxicated. I'm sober. I'm sober as all outdoors, but you're intoxicated. See, we only think about these terms when there are drugs and narcotics. No. Intoxication can be power. Intoxication can be pride. It can be arrogance, right? Watch this. Intoxication can be emotions, because what happens if anybody in here that's been drunk, you know whatever emotion that you have is usually amplified. Okay. If you drink and you get mad while you drunk, whoo, it's a different level of anger. You ever, okay, for all the folks that's done dealt with some been out there in the world for a little bit, you ever met a mad drunk? A mad drunk? Somebody when they get drunk, they can't control their temper, they going crazy, and they just mean when they drunk. Want to fight everybody. We call it liquid courage. Want to fight everybody when you're drunk. Watch this. Let somebody pass and somebody be hurt. They'll want to fight everybody. Ain't had a drink. Why are they that mad? They're intoxicated. Toxic. They're intoxicated. Toxins have gotten to their system. That's why they're behaving that way. And sometimes we become more vulnerable than we would be if we were sober, because we're intoxicated from what we're experiencing. It's not what this person is doing to me, it's what I have allowed to take control of my system. And if I understand that I'm in a vulnerable moment, I need to get from around abusers. God help me. I said, because see, I can be around abusers. Watch this. There's none of us that don't have to be around an abuser at least once a week. Okay, maybe you just, everybody around you. I'm not talking about your friends. I'm talking about people you got to be around. Anybody have to be are exposed to abusers on a weekly or daily? Some of y'all, it's y'all bosses. They treat you like that because you're in a lower position. They're abusers. Thank you. It's an abuse of power, right? Watch this. They're drunk off power. They're intoxicated, because there are certain places they can go as a supervisor or whatever as a boss, and nobody cares because they have no power there. So to get to what I'm getting to is that we have to watch how we let things that happen in our life intoxicate us. And watch this. Sometimes it's just difficult to always have your guard up. Say amen to somebody. It's difficult to always, so that since it's difficult, I would say nearly impossible to keep your guard up at all times, I need to surround myself with right relationships. Which means that now I have to govern my attractions.
I would like to add to that, and if we keep our guard up so much, sometimes we can miss what's supposed to enter.
Facts.
So that works both ways. You can have your guard up so high that you will miss something that's actually there to help you. So you're trying to keep out, but that same guard prevents something from coming in, as well as it keeps out what you're trying not to let come in.
We need to learn how to operate our gates instead of put up a wall. I got to learn how to operate my gates instead of building walls, because ain't nobody getting through the wall unless they climb over, and then you trying to get them up out of town anyway, right? But my gates now I have to be watchful over, right? I know who's allowed in. Watch this. There's some people who are allowed in and out my gate. I ain't got to worry about them. But everybody ain't got access like that. I can't be that vulnerable, and I know in times of warfare, the gate comes down, not the walls go up. Let me say it again. When warfare comes, I know that the gate comes down, not walls go up. Watch this, because when you're in warfare, spiritual warfare, right? You ain't going to get through it by yourself. Nope, you sure ain't. You're going to need some intercessors praying with you. But those intercessors can't be abusers. Because your title doesn't always carry over with your conduct. Your title does not always carry over with your conduct. Is this making sense to anybody? So again, this is not complicated, but it is complex. So you telling me I have to be vulnerable but watchful? Yep.
That's because in war, you don't put yourself in that place of vulnerability. The war made you vulnerable. And that's why you have to become more aware of what you're warring against. If what we don't realize is when you recognize and know what you're warring against, there's a saying that the battle is half won. It is, because when you fight blindly, you may be swinging at a weapon that's actually being sent to help you. And when you know what you're warring against, that means your eyes have to be open, your senses have to be aware. Then you become more effective in your warfare instead of swinging at everything that comes your way, because everything that comes your way is not sent to hurt you. Some things are sent to help you. Even in warfare, some things that don't feel good are sent to help you grow.
And even in warfare, coming from somebody who's actually been in one. I mean, what, like, being shot out, like, bombs coming at you. Yeah. Watch this. Even when we were going through shock and awe, it was called, that was a campaign, when shock and awe, they was going in there, we were hearing bombs every day. Every day. But I tell you, I'll take bombs over small arms fire any day. Small arms fire is scary. Because they just sound like little gnats and you don't know where they're going to hit or not. Zoop, 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 zoop. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, we ain't going to go too far into that. Amen. Shake it off. But that right there, even in that situation, there were walls and gates. There were walls and gates. Because there's some things I have to send out the gates to wage warfare. But there's some things I need to receive in the gate to wage warfare. Because I got to let supplies in. I have to let soldiers out. I got to let supplies in. I got to let wounded soldiers in. I got to let soldiers in so that they can be replenished, right? So sometimes when I'm praying, it's not that I can't pray for myself, but I need somebody to pray with me. It's not that I'm not putting a burden on somebody else because it's my war. But you said you was going, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be my friend. You're supposed to be my loved one. So you should be warring with me. Right? But I can only war with you as much as you allow. So if you, watch this. I saw somebody put this post up. If you're not going to tell me your issue, how much am I really going to be able to pray for you? Watch this, and I know we dealt with this a while back, but sometimes we used to be almost afraid to say what we were going to because we were speaking it. No, it's already there. You're not speaking it into existence. It's there. Right? When God asked the blind man, what do you desire of me? I desire my sight. I got to acknowledge that I can't see. So watch this. Before I can embrace my miracle, I have to express my deficiency. If I'm going to receive my miracle, I need to be able to express my deficiency. What's wrong with me? Why do you pray in the first place? You should pray just to have conversation with God. You should, right? You should pray to God to help you just get through life, right? Now, as you're getting into life, right? As you get into that, I'm talking about on a regular basis, right? But there's sometimes you call your friend, right? This is a friend that you just check up on. How you doing? How's the family doing? Y'all have what we call small talk, and y'all just talk about each other day. Oh, what was you doing? I was doing Pilates. I was doing Pilates. And this small, oh, what did you learn? Da, 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 da. Oh, I was doing this. I was making music. Okay. But then that same friend that you had that relationship with, sometimes you got to call that person and be like, I need you to pray for me. We ain't getting through no small talk. We ain't doing no pleasantries. I'm hurt. I need help. I appreciate my good friend from the military. He'll do small talk for about 2 minutes, maybe. Hey, bro, how you doing? How's family doing? You know what it is. Which means all he want to hear is what I've been preaching. And it never bothers me. You know why it doesn't bother me? That's the relationship we have. That's the relationship we have. Oh, I want him, actually, for him, and I've known this man for 20-something, almost 20 years. But like, and our relationship was different when we were around each other all the time. I would go to his room all the time because he had all the music equipment. You know, he had all the music equipment and stuff like that. So if he need to eat, I'm paying for your food. If some part of your equipment breaks, I'm paying for your equipment because thank you for giving me access to your equipment. You the one with all the equipment. Appreciate it. You know? But when we went our separate ways, so to speak, not because we were at odds with each other, because that's where life took us. Now, we are not as close as we used to be. Because now we may talk to each other 2 or 3 times a year, maybe. But every time we call, it's all love. I'm not upset with him because he doesn't call me every month. That's not where our relationship is. Where our relationship is when we had access, vicinity, we were closer. Now that we don't have that type of access, it's a little more distance. But when I hear him or see him, because he's come here twice, right? He's been here twice. I ain't been up there to see him. So what that tell you? Now he could be like, you ain't never came up to see me. He live over in like Virginia somewhere, but he done come down here 2 times, right? So sometimes we're like, well, they don't come to do this. Well, what do you? Or do you realize what a relationship actually is? He doesn't get mad at me that I don't come up there. I don't get mad at him because he ain't calling me every week. As long as we talk, we couldn't be friends because my wife would be like, that's enough. Because we be on the phone for 4 hours. That's legit. I ain't gonna say 2, 3 because that's a lie. 3, 4 hours, 5. Look, I would talk an all-day battery straight dead. You know, they be like, oh, the battery will last all day. Not with me, it won't.
You know, when you started talking about that, it dropped into my spirit that relationship is unique. And I think a lot of relationships don't work because we're too busy comparing them to others or going by what the standard said it should be. It's unique. Your relationship to God is unique. You shouldn't compare your relationship to God to my relationship to God because he made us differently. We were all made with distinct purposes. We were all made with distinct paths to walk on. If we go relegate this to what you've been teaching on about the body, the finger does not work like the arm, and the eye does not work like the tongue. They're unique. And if we relegate our relationships, regardless, to God, to individuals, to what is the purpose for that particular relationship, you just gave a perfect example. You don't see and talk all along all the time, but you have relationship. Now, some will say, because you said you went to his room for music, you were using him. You can't put labels on relationships like that because they had something like a puzzle that knitted together and it worked. It created a picture. And that's what relationships should do. They shouldn't be criticized by others. They shouldn't be compared to others. Your standard for your relationship shouldn't be the standard somebody else has for theirs. What works for that relationship? Because in my notes I have relationship involves regard and behavior. And it's regard and behavior to that particular situation.
Watch this. Because some people will feel that way, right? Well, you went to his room and, hold on. What if I told you I was invited? See what happens? Oh, you only do this because of this. I didn't even rap before I met him. I didn't even rap before I met him. He the one got me into it. That's the truth. I had rap music, you know what I'm saying, around it. I wasn't really even into it like that. Not even in high school. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't really even. I was like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But then I heard that Tupac, and it was over from there. I ain't gonna lie. Ooh, that's that real right there. He can contradict himself, but I still believe him. But you know what I'm saying? Cause I didn't feel it. Just being honest, I didn't feel it. Like it ain't music now. It's all about the sound. Nah, you got to be saying something to me. You ain't saying nothing. I ain't paying attention to you. I was like, that's a dope beat, but nah, I want to hear what you saying. But I didn't even get into it. So it was an invitation. Now watch this. He invited me to just come do something just out of whatever his reasons were. Cause I told y'all that story before. I didn't really like him at first, cause he was high ranking. He was 2 ranks above me. He was 2 ranks above me, and I was a private. He was a Lance Corporal, and like he befriended me. When I remember the first time I saw him, he had on those BC's birth controls, the big old glasses, and I saw him in them birth control glasses, and his Lance Corporal chevrons here I'm on, looking at my collar and ain't got nothing on it. Who he think he is. A Lance Corporal is who he thinks he is, because he earned it. Who he think he is. He think he better than everybody else. He's in a higher position than you are. Well, I should have been, but you're not. Well, if I was, but you're not. And then he's like, fast forward, hey, you want to come to the room freestyle? I ain't know nothing about no freestyling. Nothing like that. I came up there and embarrassed myself, and the rest of the story is history, right? So, but he invited me into his place. And then sometime later, I was like, no, we going to be friends. And I sat down, and I said, this is how I define friend. I've been this way. If we going to be friends, we going to have an understanding. We going to have an understanding because and I don't want to get into the I train, but I don't call everybody friend. I don't. I can be friendly to anybody. Y'all done seen when we do, I'll walk down the street and grab somebody, baby, that I just met right then and there. Come on, because I can be friendly. But I ain't everybody's friend. I'm not. Because, watch this, if I'm not willing to step down and or you're not willing to step up, then we don't need to be friends. Because what's going to happen is we're going to give each other a headache. Because, watch this, in relationships, somebody got to move. Somebody got to move. Somebody got to move. I got to come to them. They got to come to me. You know how the women say, well, you asked me to marry them. You know what I'm going to say? Well, you said yes. That's my baby daddy. You slept with him. That's my baby mama. You slept with her. She crazy. She was crazy when you slept with her. They abusive. They was abusive when you slept with them. Well, it was a one-night stand. That was your dumb decision. Oh, we don't like that, though. We don't like that. You mean somebody you just met? Come on now. I didn't know that was going to happen. Nobody taught you about the birds and the... For all the ladies, and I'm not blaming it on ladies, you should know if your ground is fertile. if your ground is fertile, be careful of the seed. Amen. Right? Well, it shouldn't. You hear, and I don't want to get into the politics of it, but you hear the feminists being like, oh, I have, no man should tell a woman what to do with her body. No, baby, you should have told you what to do with your body. But see, because you don't really love yourself, you don't know how to. You don't really know how to. Because if you loved yourself, you wouldn't let just anybody touch you. If you really, really love yourself, I'm not talking about people that were encroached upon and forced upon. I'm not talking about that. I got to differentiate between that. Right? But I'm talking, okay, if you allowed that person to sleep with you, that was your decision. I'm going to get sticky. Yep, I'm going to get into the weeds. Watch this. if you were intoxicated, it's not that that person should have took advantage of you. That is wrong. Because watch this, two things can be true at the same time. Two different things can be true at the same time. No, nobody want to talk about this, but I'll deal with it. Come get me. You know what I mean? I was in this person, I ain't talking about no rape now. Rape now, you need to, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I couldn't find no convicted rapist. You need to die. That's what I said that I ain't scared of. You need, no. Mm-mm. Now, if you got yourself intoxicated, I'm not talking about somebody tricked you and put something in your drink. I'm talking about something you sit up there and you want to have a hot girl summer. Some of y'all be wanting to have hot girl winters. Come on now. You want to have a hot boy. I'm not just talking about the women. Because it's a spirit thing. Because some of these men, quiet as it's kept, they'll complain more than y'all women about crazy women. Oh, they'll be nagging just like, she crazy, bruh. You slept with that crazy woman. But this is why you have to govern your attractions. Because you saw body, yada, 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 yada. You saw body. Don't smirk, Kiara. You saw that stallion. and you lost your mind. That boggles my mind. You a woman calling yourself a stallion. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But anyway, but you you saw that stallion and you lost your mind. Oh man. She was so fine. I talk from the male perspective because I think sometimes when males speak on females, it gets whatever. But like, okay, she was so fine. Bruh, she gave me them eyes. You can't manage your gates? You don't know how to manage your gates? Oh, bruh, but the way she was talking, you don't know how to manage your gates? Oh, but the way she smelled, you don't know how to manage your gates? But she felt so good. You don't know how to manage your gates? And then you the one said, come on. You don't know how to manage your gates? So you went through 5 gates to commit that one act, and you want to blame that person entirely. It takes 2 to tango, and it takes 2 to get into an entanglement. So which one do you have, a relationship or an entanglement? Because an entanglement will choke you out. Eventually. It's going to ostracize somebody. It's going to hurt somebody. Go ahead. Make the light go green.
Okay, green light. I wanted to speak to the point you made a couple minutes ago about your military buddy and going to his room, because it made me think about how God so intricately lays out our destinies, even sometimes when we don't realize it. Like, I want to ask you, does your friend do music?
Yeah.
He does. He still
He
does
got me
music?
into it.
But he still does it?
Yeah, not as much, but yeah.
No? Okay. Because I was just thinking, like you said, you didn't do rap before that. And so, like, God obviously put him in your life, and maybe your love for that or your motivation maybe was born to do music, to do rap.
Absolutely.
And look at you now. And then I thought about, for me, how my relationship with Chris Walker, which people might think was like a weird thing, because here I am, a married woman. He was a single man, single father of 2 boys. And from going to church to my godmother's revivals, we formed a relationship. And when he was working at West Orange, he used to call me every morning, same time. And we talked. My husband be laying right there. My husband didn't think nothing of it. We were just friends. By that relationship with Chris Walker, I ended up with a 22-year career. I had no idea that God was, placing us together, because he is the one that suggested me for my job at House of Blues. And so sometimes when I think back and I think like, wow, how did this happen? And I go backwards the steps. I was like, God put that relationship together, and I wasn't even recognizing it at the time. So it's just amazing to me, how he does things. I just wanted to bring that up.
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing about that is it remained a right relationship, right? Because no bounds were over, nobody went over the bounds, right? So I got introduced to something that paid for my living for 22 years from having right relationship. I got something that work, and even though that's on a hiatus right now or whatever have you, I'm not mad at that person because I wouldn't have this thing that was so good to me in the season that it was supposed to be good for me, right? That season is on hiatus. That season is up. But I'm not mad at that person. Man, I wouldn't have wasted 22. No, 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 no. But see, something, not that you are, but some people would become bitter about that. No, 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 no. You fell in love with that thing. Or you got into love with that thing. It was like, man, I didn't even know how much I like this. I'm to the point where I'm like, man, I didn't even, like with music, I thought I was done with music on clear. I was like, yeah, I got 4 albums, I'm good. And then I heard through a relationship, somebody was like, hey, did you ever try out this site? I started hearing beats. I guess I ain't done. Yeah, I guess it ain't over yet, But now I have to put it in a different place. Like Sukkot, I couldn't touch music. Couldn't touch music. Take too much time away from study. I've told y'all many times back in the day, it used to be like, ooh, song, ooh, let me get sermon. Ooh, song, ooh, let me get sermon. Now it's like sermon. Do I got a couple minutes? Now I can do song. Because I've learned how to prioritize right. And so it's not that, watch this, it's not that you have to lose your love for everything, but you got to know how and where and when to love it. I can't love writing songs more than I do studying the Word of God. I can't. I can't love coming to church more than having covenant with God. Because if I have covenant with God, coming to church won't be so hurtful. Because I'm not there for people. I'm there for him. Because I realize, watch this, I realize people gonna be people. Because I'm one of them people. Because as wonderful as you think you are, and as good as intent as you may have had, watch this, there's probably no one in this room that haven't hurt someone with good intentions. I'll go so far as to say there isn't many folks, if anybody in this room, that haven't hurt someone with pure intentions. Your intentions were pure. I meant the best for that person. But you're in a relationship and there's 2 people involved. And so even though you gave it in purity, they received it in hostility. And now there's tension in this relationship because that person received it in hostility. Now, if my intentions were pure, I got to recognize their hostility and give them some space. Because if I try and get close to them in this moment, I may create more of a separation between us. Because if I bum rush you and just make you embrace me. Come here, Messiah. Hope you don't mind me using you. Do you mind me using you? All right. Come here. So if I come to give Messiah dap, and Messiah puts up this on right here on my shoulder, that's as close as he want me to be. He's just told me, I'm cool with you right here. Now, if I break in there, give me a sip on. If I break in there, now he's going to probably, if he's mad enough, he's going to be like, get off me, bro. I don't know you like that. Or like, I don't want that from you. I don't want that from you right now. I don't want that from you at all. Ever. We can be right here. And we be cool. We can rock like this our whole life. The minute I do this, I've created that. And now because I broke their boundaries for me, now, just put your hand up as I saw it come towards you. Now he's telling me, look, that's close enough. That's close enough. And see, some people, we come over here, and now this has turned into this. Because when you were here, I was trying to tell you, that's enough. That's close enough. And watch this. We do this with our own children. I'm going to be here. You finna get hit. Not physically. Not physically. But emotionally. No, watch this. They call it lashing out. They call it acting out. Why am I acting out? Because you're too close, right? But I'm your mama, but you're too close. But I'm your daddy, you're too close. Now, I'm still going to tell you to do the right thing. What you're not going to do is you're not finna put hands on me. That's what we're not going to do. What we're not going to do is have you putting hands on me. Let's get that twisted. But I'm talking to somebody that's mature. I'm not talking like a child or whatever have you, right? But as that child gets older, you ought to know how to get your distance because one day you can go to your seat. But watch this. One day I'm going to have to be like, all right, you can go. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a season where I'm going to have to be closer to them every day. Every day. I'm going to have to be, but eventually, right, with the baby, you got to wean the baby. I got to sit down. I said I was going to sit down.
Yeah, because you know what, in that same demonstration you just gave, why do we have a problem when he put his hand on your shoulder? Why do we have a problem accepting that? Why does it have to be what we want it to be? And that's the problem. That is the problem. When someone tells you how close to enter into their circle, be accepting of that. And it doesn't have to be a reason or a rhyme to it. It's just their wish and honor that. And to want, that's the same thing I said, comparisons. Jonathan Mike Reynolds got me all messed up. But comparisons can kill because you're so busy wanting this when he gave you that because you see that with him, maybe with his brother, but you're not there. So we have to learn to be accepting of where a person puts us.
I am not entitled to where I want to be with them. Let me say it again. I am not entitled to be where I want to be with them because it involves them. That's my son. You're not entitled to it. That's my daughter. Not entitled to it. Watch this. That's my wife. Not entitled to it. Because the minute I break that boundary, I've become abusive. You got a hand in the back. Wait for the mic. We want everybody to hear the online folk too.
In that case, when you do make the motions and you're accused of you're trying to be funny, right at that moment, I'm not feeling you. So I don't want to, how you doing? And I keep it moving. Is that okay?
Of course. And if that person keeps encroaching upon your space, you got to put more distance between them. Like if you I keep telling you where I want you, and you don't want to be there, again, this is a two-way street. Sometimes we want people to step up. Sometimes we want people to step back, right? And so if we understand that sometimes we have to step down to come to where they are, and sometimes they have to step up to come to where we are, but again, it's a relationship. Somebody has to move. And those of us who say we have a relationship with the Most High God and we are loving people, we got to learn our place with people. They don't want me there. Watch this. If God wanted to, he could force you to do anything. But he gave you a choice.
And that's where I was going. We started this out about our relationship with him. He does not force himself on us. We can get down in the gutter, and if we don't, he says, I'll draw near to you if you draw near to me. You get down in the gutter and you still don't want to draw near to him, he's going to let you stay where you are. It's a two-way street, and that's what we won't. If we relegate relationship to our relationship, that's why we got to learn how to have a relationship with him first. And the first thing we have to recognize, he does not force himself on us. Salvation is a gift. To get a gift, you have to receive the gift.
Yes.
I want to go back to the first thing you said was we have to have a relationship with God and love God.
Yes.
Then love ourselves.
Yes.
And then love others.
Yes.
So many times we want individuals to love us when they haven't had a relationship to love God yet. So it's very hard for people to love you the way you want to be loved because they don't have that relationship with God. And we force them to have that, and it's not fair.
It's beyond their current capacity. And I can't love somebody beyond their current capacity. Watch this. They don't know any better. Which is why we should forgive folks who don't know any better. Christ is on the cross, dying for people who don't love him. But what does he say? Father, forgive them. Forgive them. But I love them because this is my assignment is to love them. That's Yeshua's assignment. My assignment is to love them. And the depths that I'm willing to go through for them to show my love is I'm going to die for them even though they don't have love for me. Right? What greater love? So he says, look, I'm going to lay down my life for my friends. I'm going to lay down my life for these people because that's my assignment. I'm not telling nobody to kill themselves for somebody else. That was Yeshua's assignment, not yours. Hello? But it's the principle. So we get so stuck in, like you say, comparison. Well, I got to, no. You got to understand the principle. That was his assignment. Your blood ain't going to save nobody. Let me save you the trip, okay? Right? Your blood ain't going to save nobody, okay? not they soul. They might say they life, but they ain't going to say they soul. All right? Sometimes we willing to shed blood over people that ain't even in danger. Never mind. That's a whole nother thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you don't put your blood on the line for somebody that's not even in danger. You're going to die for somebody who's not in danger. No. Now, again, if somebody is in danger and you love them and you choose to, quote, unquote, fall on the sword, take the bullet or whatever have you, that's one thing. But some of us sitting up here just like, nah, I'm going to die for them. They ain't even in danger like that. Learn what's the difference. Come on now. We got to have some discernment. We got to have some wisdom. Watch this. Now, I'm not going to say we should have common sense. I don't even believe in common sense. I don't. Because if it was common sense, then it would be common. But so-called common sense ain't common. So, matter of fact, it'd be better said uncommon sense. Right? Uncommon sense would be if he put his hands on my shoulder, that's far enough. Some of our children, some of our friends, some of our co-workers are saying, that's far enough. I'm giving y'all the testimony. I was very upset with somebody who's a higher position than me because I want to be close at that point in time in my life. I know the difference between friends, right? But I want to be close to everybody because I honestly love folk, right? I want to be close to everybody. And long story short, he just sit down and he say, what are we going to talk about? You know who I am. You know I'm going to talk crude. You know I'm going to do this and third. I respect you for what you do because they know who I am at this point. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go in there announcing I'm a pastor. But now everybody knows. You know what I mean? But, like, I respect you. But I'm not going to do that. And I had got upset with this individual for, like, the better part of a year. All because I wanted to be in a space I wasn't invited to. So y'all know Kevin. Kevin is one of the people that interviewed me. He's the other individual that interviewed me. So they've been there the whole time. And really, he's the person who got me into the seat that I'm in. This is a true story. He literally fought for my position. The person who ultimately hired me because he pushed so hard for me. Like, hey, I'm telling you, go get him, right? I was the first one out of our group to get the position that I got, right? Some people got higher positions than me, but I was the first one to get a permanent position, right? And so, boom, but this person fought for me, and I'm upset with them. They fought for me to be in the position I'm in, but I'm upset with them because they won't let me in the position I want to be in. They fought for me to be in the position I'm in. I'm upset with them because they won't let me in the position I want to be in. When they're like, that's close enough. We can be good like this. Why you overstepping? Why are you overstepping? Go ahead. Mike, please. You see somebody itching like that? Come on now.
What you didn't realize is that there was a seat at his table and garbage creating a table for you.
Right.
And it's a difference in between. See, we have to realize that when God is growing us, there's no more seats, there are tables.
Right.
So when he's preparing that table, you can't want to sit at somebody else's table. Sit at your own table and do what you do.
Right. They done invited you to a table, and you upset because you want to sit at theirs. That's beautiful. They invited you to a table, but you upset because you want to sit at theirs. Like, no, he can eat over there. You can eat right here. Because the table that's his table is supposed to feed his, not yours.
That remind me of a saying my mom used to say all the time, what you eat don't make me fat.
Mm-hmm.
And we forget that. We want to eat what they're eating, but what he eats doesn't make me fat.
Right. It's just, I saw your hand runner.
All of those messages that you were teaching when you were talking about proper placement, putting people where they belong, and you were really talking about relationships, is all coming back. And it's like, I was one who would get upset in the past. I thank God for deliverance. Hallelujah. But I would get upset if people didn't want to let me in where I thought I wanted to be, because it was personal. It was like, you're rejecting me. No, they're telling me where they want me in their life. And I'm going to use like a familial relationship. We think because we're born into a family that we have this place in this family, when we actually have the place that we have. They'll tell you how they view you, how they see you. And I had to get to the point of accepting, this is my lot in life. This is where I belong. This is how I'm going to relate to this person. So it comes down to being aware of my own position in every relationship. Like with Michael, I always tell him, nobody, you one of a kind. Don't nobody have nothing nowhere near you because you're my husband. So I can't go around and treat all men like I treat him. But it comes to me accepting that I'm Rhonda, and in every relationship that I have a choice to be where I'm supposed to be. I can't force myself into a place, nor should I try to remove myself from a place where I belong. Like being in a relationship with you all. I can't treat you like you're strangers because you're family. You're my brothers and sisters. And I have to accept that as family, each one of you have a role in my life, just like I have a role in yours. It comes to me taking ownership for why God put me, instead of trying to make a place that I didn't belong in the first place. That's what I'm trying to say. Kind of like what Erica said just a little bit. You know, there's a seat I wanted to be in, but God had a table over here. And I just have to be accepting of, I want you at this table, not in that seat.
Watch this. Watch this. If I want to have right relationship, I need to tell somebody where I am. I'm going to say it again because I think it's going to hit. If I'm in right relationship with somebody, I need to tell them where I am. Now, as much as I'm telling them where I am, they need to tell me where they are so we can learn where to meet. Now, watch this. Okay, if me and my wife are going two different places, right? In right relationship is good. Hey, I'm over here. Okay, when we go to stores, me and my wife don't shop together, right? Now, I can follow her around and shop all day. I want a few minutes. It don't matter to me. I don't want to sit in a chair. I can't sit in a chair while my wife's shopping. That junk will drive me crazy. I need to move around. So I can just follow her. I don't have to go shopping for myself. But typically when we go shopping, I go shop and she go shop. And then we meet somewhere. I go find something if there's something for me to find. She goes and find something, there's something for her to find. But before we leave that place, we meet somewhere, and watch this, we usually meet around the home section. Because we got to get this together. So it's okay for you to like what you like. It's okay for me to like what I like. But this thing we call home, we got to like this together. We got to work this out together. I want this and this and this and this. I don't want all that. Well, I want this and this. I don't want all that. Well, I want this and just this. Okay, even though I want just this, I can get your just this. So instead of me just having the one thing I want, now we have two things because we both have something. It's called, you know what I'm saying? It's learning how to live together. Go ahead, Sandra.
I just wanted to say to Rhonda, you were saying that you felt rejected. I think that you probably were rejected, but oftentimes, rejection is God's way of protecting us and redirecting us. So I have learned not to be so like, because I struggled with the spirit of rejection for several different reasons, but I recently learned that when I'm rejected, I kind of recompartmentalize it in my head as this wasn't meant for me, or I wasn't meant to be in that space, or I wasn't meant to be with that person. I have this friend, and he's a very, very good friend, but he thinks I'm his wife. I know I'm not his wife. So, and he's a great guy, right? So I tell him all the time, I'm not rejecting you to hurt you. I'm rejecting you because I know that I'm not her, and that I believe God has somebody for you that's going to be way better for you than I am going to be for you. So turn your focus off of me and look for her, because I'm not her. But that's, the whole rejection thing. Sometimes I think if we, kind of dissect it, sometimes we'll realize that it's not to hurt us, it's to help us.
Sometimes we feel rejection because we ain't right. Sometimes we feel rejection because we ain't right. If I've told you I'm not her, you shouldn't feel rejected. This ain't right for you. Let me say it again. You feel rejection. I'm telling you, I'm not right for you. So you're trying to create you felt rejection because rejection happened. You got turned down. But now you might be receiving a spirit of rejection when I'm telling you I'm not right for you. And see, sometimes it's like, no, you're not right for this position. Oh, they rejected me. No, you're right for this position, but not that one. And so, what if by putting you in the right position, I'm giving you a 22-year career? You see what I'm saying? I'm giving you something that's going to define a good portion of your life. That's going to be good for you. It's going to be something that you couldn't even imagine for yourself. So either you can have that situation, or you can be fighting 20 years for something that was never yours.
Watch this about rejection. Sometimes we call things rejection when they don't fit our agenda, our motives, or our thoughts, or our patterns. And it may not be rejection at all, but you might not like this, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm getting it from the Holy Spirit. Rejection at some point could be a form of witchcraft because you want everybody to conform to what you want. Thank you, Sister Annie. What you want, what you think, and how you act. That might sound harsh, but it is something that we should consider to correct ourselves. Because every time you feel rejection, it's not rejection. It's somebody not fitting in your mold. You can't put a square peg into a circle mold. So we have to be careful of what we call rejection. In everything in life, when something it doesn't just come and click with us and we vibe into it, stop to think, why? Is that because I need to correct the way I think? I need to correct the way I act? I need to go back to God and make sure I heard clearly the directions that he gave me. But we'll be quick to label something that doesn't fit what we want it to fit as something that sounds like we've been victimized, because rejection is being a victim. And we have to be careful. I see that to a certain point as a spirit of witchcraft, because you want that thing to be what you want it to be instead of looking at, why is this happening to me? If we stop when things happen to us to say, why is this happening to me? And you consult in prayer, like they say, some things come with fasting and prayer, it'll be opened up to you. And it may not be something you want to accept, but the truth we can't deny. And it may hurt. The truth may hurt, but we can't deny it. But the truth is sent to Bible to make us free. The truth is sent to make us free, and we got to accept that freedom because we have a choice, stay stuck in bondage or to be free. So sometimes things happen to bring us freedom, but we won't take the time to consider it, to sit in it, to see things from somebody else's point of view. If you, and this still leads back to pride, if you think only your way is the right way and you're not open to hear the other side of the story, because I found myself in situations that when I actually sat down to see something from someone else's perspective, I understood. Whether you agree with it or not is a totally another matter, but coming to an understanding is a start.
Watch this. What if, what if your feelings of rejection is really just a spirit of control? Which is what you said. The minute you said that's why I was trying to let you get through. I was like, whoo, whoo. Because witchcraft. You trying to control somebody. Because they ought to do this based on how wonderful you are. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, I've been turned this way.
The first question you should ask yourself is it your call?
It's not.
In every relationship that you're in, yes, you can have your will or your way or the way that you want to do it, but is it your call? For you to feel rejected, you would have to be in control of the situation, just like they're saying. A friend of mine told it to me this way one time. And I say a friend of me because we were definitely at odds with each other about certain things. But when he said this, there wasn't nothing I could say. He said, everybody got their own brand of crazy. You just have to decide what you will accept in your life about that person. In your marriage and everything else, there are going to be things that are going to, and I know in mine, there are things that are annoying me. Now, if I can't accept them, then we wouldn't be married long. So we all got our brand of crazy. Just how much of it are you going to accept from the other person is going to determine whether the relationship stays together or not, or whether you push through that. And I'm so glad that God decided to accept my brand of crazy and push me in a direction to change it.
Honesty really is the best policy. If you're not good with something, don't say you are. Because sometimes we say we're good with something for the sake of get along. No, what's going to happen is you're going to build up despite in yourself because you really didn't like that and you weren't honest about it. Now watch this. Everything that you're honest about doesn't mean that it's going to turn out in your way. Oh, see, we don't like that part, right? All right. Everything you're honest about ain't gonna turn out in your way, but at least you were honest about it. You weren't deceptive. Because when we say I'm good with it, see, we don't look at it in these terms. When you say that you're good with it, and you're not, and you just go with it, you're being deceptive, not honest. Here's another one. I'm gonna get this microphone. Watch this. This is how crucial. He said it ain't your call. Truth be told, none of your friends should be your call. Truth be told, none of our spouses should be our call. If we want to talk about the truth, it shouldn't be our call. Because we should run it by him. Let me give you a text behind it. The book of Ezra talks about towards the end, like right around chapter 9, and he's telling them, if y'all want to get right, this is God talking to them, if y'all want to get right with me, y'all gonna have to divorce y'all wives and separate from the children. I know nobody likes the word like this. I know nobody want to like the word like that. Because they had married into situations. They had married into cultures that were not of God. God's like, that ain't what I want you to be attached to. I know children are involved. Y'all don't want to hear this, God. Y'all don't want to hear this word. Y'all don't want to hear this word. Y'all don't want to hear this word. I know you've developed relationship with them. I know you love them, but I said not so. Now, if you want to be right with me, you got to separate from them. Now, that's the text. Now, what we want to do with the text is a choice. And then, now, if you made the choice to stay with them because you love them, and it wrecked your relationship with God. Don't blame them. If you stayed with them and it wrecked your relationship with them, don't blame them. God had already told you that ain't for you. Watch this. I know that's what you want, but it's not right for you.
Two things. Yeshua said it best. Who is my family? Who are my brother? Who are my sisters? Those that do the will of the Father.
Who's my mother?
So, mother. So this is the thing about it is what we have to realize is, and this is something I just learned recently when God was dealing with me about my family. He says, listen, I have given you a family, and that family is not your blood family. Truth. This is something that I recently had to deal with because he was cutting relationships short, and I was not happy about it. And he says, no, you chose me. And if you chose me, you got to do what I tell you to do. Secondly, we have to realize that we can't control the things of God. Why do I say this? Recently, I had a situation shown to me, and I've been trying to figure out when this situation will take place. Just this morning, God said, you will never know. It'll happen when you least expect it. Why? Because you're trying to control the situation. A lot of times, we try to control the situation that we know God has told us, but it's not going to happen until he say so.
Watch this, and we're going to close on this one. When we talk about family, we talk about relationships, and understand that everything that I'm saying, I'm correlating to God. I'm just bringing it down to our level so that we can understand. Because that's where it started from, and that's where we want to make sure it stays rooted too. This is what we have to understand about the family structure of God, the household of faith. When you come into his house, no, not four walls. No. Not the four walls of this church. I'm talking about when you come into the household of faith, relationship with God, you don't make the rules. Watch this. You can never outgrow the rules. The minute that you don't want to obey the rules of the house, get out. And so that, I'd rather you be hot or cold. But think about it. If we even bring that down to our level, right? Because we raise children. And by the way, we got to get rid of that whole, you got to get out the house by 18, John. We got to get that. Because most of these kids, even if they busting their tail, it's hard to live out here right now, okay? It's if you live in this world, but particularly this particular area, people paying rent more than I'm paying for my house. You know what I mean? Paying $2,000 for a 2-bedroom. You crazy. I don't pay that in my house. It's 4 bedrooms. It's insane. And I got a yard and a garage. You know what I mean? And people out here paying crazy. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But here's the thing. We raise children. And this happens with, usually it happens between the same sex, right? Usually it's the mother fighting with the daughter or the son fighting with the father because the son wants to tell the father how to run his house. Jesus don't get down like that. No, he ain't having it. You know what I'm saying? And so we can't do what we want to do in his house. Whatever curfew he said, you better be there 5 minutes before. If you know when you get in the house, you're supposed to do homework, before you run out and play and do what you want to do your homework first. I'm not saying that you can't have some recess. I'm not saying that you can't play around and do some things that you like to do, but you do homework first. That makes sense? And then you always honor the man of the house. Hello, somebody. I'm talking about God. Don't know the women that, you want me to bring you your plate. Sometimes my wife bring me my plate. Sometimes I bring her hers. Relax. Right? I will cook, serve her plate, and wash the dishes, and not be looking the next day. Well, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? It's called love. If I can do it, look, I cook a lot less than I used to. My wife cooks a lot more. You know what I'm saying? I go to a 9-to-5 job, she does it. But that's the balance of our house. You know what I mean? So that's do you have balance in your house? And be like, ooh, they got it so good. We got it so us. And we got it, so us. That's what we got us. I don't need to be looking at you and be like, ooh, I want your relationship. I don't know what happened behind because I might not want to know what really happened. Because you could come out in public smiling and cheesing because you deceitful. I see you had some, Mike.
Earlier, I wanted to talk about the rejection thing. What if this seat of rejection that we're sitting in, we placed ourselves in?
Yeah.
You know?
Because we're not right. We're not right because, again, sometimes we put ourselves in there. Sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. Right? Sometimes you put yourself in a position, again, you had the right intent. You just have to be, honest about the situation that you're in, because some situations you ended up in, you wasn't deceitful, you wasn't none of that stuff. But now you found out that that's not where you thought it was. Yeah, you did sit yourself there, but it's just not what you thought it was. You didn't deceive yourself. You was like, hey, I thought it was this. It turned out not to be that. I don't need to feel guilty about me not knowing the entirety of a thing. Right? Because, again, some people weren't abusive until they were. Right? Everybody, again, I don't think we're dealing with ignorant people here, right? So it's like, okay, some people that you got into a relationship, they didn't start off as abusive. Okay? You may find out, hey, that's who they really were, but you can't be at fault because you didn't know how everybody was at first. It doesn't matter how discerning you are, how anointed you are, you didn't know, because if you knew everything, you'd mess it up anyway. You'd mess it up anyway. Ain't truth, you wouldn't grow. So we have to understand that, hey, let me be mindful of where I am. That's why I say if you're in a relationship, be honest about where you are. Did you put yourself in that seat? Well, then get yourself out of that seat. Right? Did you get in this seat unaware of what was really involved in this seat? Get up out of that seat. Did you find out that you belong at that table and not somebody else's? Well, get up out of that seat and get into your table. And understand, if we are going to say that we are part of the household of faith, that this is Daddy's house. I'm not talking about these four walls. I'm talking about this. If this is Daddy's house, I gotta go by his rules. I can't stay out when I want to stay up. This is Dad. I'm grown. You ain't growner than Daddy. And watch this. A lot of times when we say we grown, we're really stunted. I'm grown. You stunted. You stunted because if I'm not grown, I'm growing. There's a difference. I'm not grown. I'm growing. Talk to God about how grown you are. Oh, you grown, huh? So you're done. No, I'm growing. I'm growing. I ain't grown. God's the only grown person. You know what I'm saying? God's grown. God is grown. He don't need to get no bigger. You know what I'm saying? He is the only grown one. So, hey, you know what I'm saying? We are growing up. We are growing in faith, and we got to go to the grown one and say, hey, how do you want to do this? And how do you want your house run? Because the house will work more efficiently if we run it his way. Our life will work more efficiently if we work his way. Our relationships will work much better his way. Last thing, because sometimes he'll tell you to connect with a Judas. Sometimes he'll send you to a wilderness to be tempted. But if you have right relationship, you'll always come out. You'll always come out greater than you went in. His public ministry doesn't start until he gets out of the wilderness. He can't graduate to the cross until he gets off of the mountain of tribulation. You know what I'm saying? He can't ascend back to heaven until he goes through the crucifixion. So everything that he takes you through, no matter how rigorous and painful it is, hey, I did it for a reason. I'm trying to progress you. I'm bringing you through this. And watch this. I'm not asking you to do something I wouldn't do myself because I already did it. I'm going to show you how to grow up. That's why he sent us Jesus, to show us how to grow up. Be quiet until I call you. Jesus was born flawless, and he didn't start ministry through 30. That doesn't mean that somebody can't start ministry before then. But I'm saying, don't you open your mouth before he call. Don't you step into ministry before he call you. Abraham didn't start ministry until 80. Hello? But now Jeremiah started at 8.
You know, that's
Did he
good
call you?
because we go back to this. We were studying this on Thursday night, where the Bible said, make your call and election sure. And we have relegated this, us in today's world have relegated this to a pulpit assignment. Your call and your election made sure is saying, I'm being called by you, because he's always calling. He said, I stand at the door and knock. When somebody knocks at your door, they're calling for you. So your call and your election is he's calling for you, and you're answering that call, and you're electing. You're making the decision to be his. And that's what making our call and our election sure is all about. But we've relegated that to a pulpit position, a title, being known, a platform, how many likes, how many stars, this internet prophesying and stuff that's going on today. And we need to take things back. That song that Lawrence, Donna Lawrence put out about let's go back to Eden and sit on top of the world, that's the only way. We got to go back to the beginning, because we've just said that's Old Testament, that's old school. And in the beginning is really where our foundation is laid. But making your call and election sure is he's at the door knocking, mean he's always calling. So you're going to answer that call, and you're going to elect to be his. And that's what it's all about. The second thing I want to say to that, and then I'll be done, is that the Bible also tells us that our gift will make room for us. We think that means money, possessions, notoriety. Your gift will make room for you, meaning doing his will in the kingdom.
Amen. Your pulse is your platform. Your pulse is your platform. I don't need this pulpit to preach. Preach wherever I am. Anywhere. Catch me outside. And that's where we're going to go. But we're going to pull up right here. We can keep talking afterwards, but we're going to pull up right here. And can we give God a hand clap of praise?